Welcome everyone to our live webinar here at QCamp this afternoon, the new sister company of Situated Research. Our live presentation today is called Social Media 101, Measuring Marketing Effectiveness and ROI. Before we begin, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction to QCamp and our team. We offer a wide range of services here at QCamp, from web design to social media analytics. In fact, this year we will be introducing IQ, a new piece of software that our team is currently developing. This new piece of software, IQ, will pull data from our clients' social media outlets and give them useful information about their online marketing efforts. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about IQ later on in today's session. So a lot of new and exciting things are happening here at QCamp. Today's webinar will be recorded and available to you by the end of the business day. You can email us if you have further questions, comments, or testimonials for today's session at info@qcamp.com. If you have any questions during today's session, we ask that you type those questions in your upper right-hand corner in your chat or questions box. We will go ahead and address those questions after today's session. And you all will be muted for today's webinar. We have about 1,700 people attending today, so if we didn't do that, it would be a little chaotic. And if you want to follow the discussion on Twitter today, you can use hashtag QCamp, SMMWS, for Social Media Marketing Webinar Series. So today is our conclusion to our social media series. It's part 5 of 5. And in this series, we've taught you how to turn your business into a social enterprise. We've also discussed effective blogging practices to get your content shared and to start positive discussions about your product or business online. We've also talked about generating leads through social media and visits to your website. We've also taught you how to push your message out to pull clients in. We've also shown you some research-proven best practices for selecting interactive, usable website content. And we've also talked about the integration of your brand on your website, apps, ads, social media pages, and your company blog. The layout of today's webinar is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and talk about these points, and at the end we will do a recap of the entire social media webinar series. So during today's session, we're going to talk about how usability affects social media marketing. So QCamp is the new sister company of Situated Research, and Situated Research, what we do is we deal with usability and the overall user experience. And that pertains to social media marketing as well. So we'll go ahead and talk about that. We're also going to talk briefly about how the placement and quantity of social media buttons affects their usage. And it also affects how your users interact with your online social media outlets and respond to you. We'll also talk about the strategies for an effective social media marketing plan specific to your industry. We'll then teach you how to measure your web marketing effectiveness. We'll also talk about quantifying social media conversations and social media efforts. We'll then talk about gauging the tone of blog posts, video views, search results, and comments. And then we'll talk about measuring the return on your effort. So why should you be attending today? There is a need for all businesses to be using social media for their marketing. It's proven that you'll gain business from joining social networks, and we want to help businesses get on social networks to increase their profit share. Our belief here at QCamp is that the more businesses we get using social networks, the more business you're going to get. So our goal is for you to generate at least 5 good leads from your social media outlets And you can do that by going through the guidelines that we put out there for you in this social media webinar series. So just to recap about social media. Social media refers to the use of web-based and mobile technologies to turn communication into an interactive dialogue, exchanging user-generated content online. So social media in 2014 involves integrating into your marketing strategy. You have to have a mainstream of users. It also has to do with growth of your mobile marketing. And cheap is the new free. And we've talked about this during this series. So just as a recap as well, social media is shaping. Social media can take the form of many different shapes. It can be forums, blogs, podcasts, photos, video, ratings and comments, and social bookmarking. So here at QCamp and Situated Research, our story boils down to using Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, and our blogs. And we just entered our 6th year of business because of these networks and our marketing efforts. About 85% of our clientele come from social media. So that tells you something. Active monthly users of the big 9. So these are the big 9 social media outlets out there that companies are using. And you can see how many people are on each social media outlet. So why use social media? Social networking accounts for 85% of all the time spent online in the U.S. for users. Facebook tops traffic over Google weekly. Twitter averages over 250 million tweets a day, and that number rises every day. 3 in 4 businesses are using social media for their marketing and networking needs now. And those businesses using social media have increased their profits by double. So let's talk about the first bullet point today was about usability and integrating it with your social media. So first, let's talk about what is usability. Usability is making your products and systems easier to use and matching them more closely to your users' needs and requirements. So basically, it boils down to how well users can learn and use a product to achieve their goals and how satisfied they are with that process. You have to first understand how your users think. Users that go online have expectations. When they go to your website, they want to see a Contact Us button because they want to contact you. They want to see an About Us button. They want to learn more about your company. They also want to see a blog so that they can see that you are showing off your expertise. They want to see pricing. And they also want to see testimonials and see what other people have said about your services or your product. But they also want to see social media buttons. And why is this? The more ways that you put on your website for people to contact you, the more you're going to gain trust with your online users. Users want to connect to you. If they like your product or service, they want to go to your social media outlets, become a fan, support you. If they don't like your products or services, they want to be able to reach you as well so that they can complain and put that online. And that's okay too, because in the social media series, we taught you that negative comments can also be good because you can respond and take that action that needs to happen to turn that bad comment into a positive one. And clients also want to know that you want to be reached. So the more ways that you put on your website to be reached, the better for your users. So understanding the way users think, there are some social media expectations. So as users, we all want to go onto a website now and see your Facebook fan page link. We want to see that you're on LinkedIn, that you're active within your community and your industries. We want to see a Twitter account so that we can follow. Users want to see that you have a lot of fans following you. It gains you credibility and trust. It gains authority, ranking, expertise, quality of your product and services, and relevancy. Trust plus authority plus rank plus quality equals relevancy. It's the key factor in converting fans into clients. So the placement of these social media buttons is very important. Some people don't think so, but it is. Within Usability, we do testing with users. And when we test users and they go to a website, they expect to see the social media buttons either at the top of the pages or at the very bottom. Especially if you have a website where people are having to scroll through information on a page, when they get to the bottom, they might be impressed with that and they may want to contact you. So having that information at the top or at the bottom is very important. It's consistency. And in our Take Your Website to the Next Level webinar, which was the very first webinar that QCamp did, and you can see that recording on our YouTube page, we talk about the placement of social media buttons and that contact information and where users expect to see it and what happens when it's not where they expect to see it. So why is this so important? Users have expectations. Research shows that they want to see these social media buttons. So if your social media buttons are not where they expect, then they will not find them or use them, and you won't gain fans. So it's not good because all social media marketing efforts are now lost. So you're doing campaigns on your Facebook page, but people can't find how to connect to you, how to find you, how to become a fan. Floating social media buttons increase your content sharing dramatically. And floating social media buttons are usually found on your blog. So here at QCamp, we strongly believe in integrating a blog into your website. And again, we talk about that in that Take Your Website to the Next Level webinar. And by integrating your blog and then providing floating social media buttons, people can share the content very easily, very quickly. Then they can go to your pages, become a fan, et cetera, et cetera. So here's a screenshot of Situated Research's blog. And you can see at the bottom we have our social media buttons. And people can click and share this blog post with as many people as they want that are within their group. So what buttons do you want to share? It's going to be different depending on your industry, your company, what your business goals are. Here at QCamp and Situated Research, we stick to the basics. We use Facebook, we use Twitter, we use LinkedIn, we use Google+. We have a connection to our YouTube channel because we do webinars, our Pinterest pages, and our RSS feed for our blog. And that's it. These social media outlets have worked for our company. Like I said, 85% of our business comes through these social media outlets. And so these are the ones that we put up. It may be different for your company depending on your business goals. So what buttons should you definitely make sure that you have? Your Facebook fan page, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn. And also integrating a blog. And just a little touching on this a little bit more because we believe so strongly in it. In integrating a blog into your website, you want to do this because you gain trust, credibility, and availability. You never want a user to leave your site. So integrating a blog allows users to stay within your website. If you don't do this and you have someone click on your blog and it takes them to a third-party site, your user may not be able to get back to your website. There's a new look and feel, so the user has to orient themselves all over again. And the back button may not work. So they may have done a Google search to get to your website. Now they went to a blog and they may not be able to get back. Too many buttons is a big worry as well for companies, and it should be, because it If you have too many buttons, social media buttons, your users are going to get overwhelmed. So you don't want them to get overwhelmed. And maybe users do not know what the buttons mean. Sometimes there's icons that social media outlets use, and because they're not the main 5 social media outlets that we listed earlier, people aren't familiar with them, so they're not going to click on them. Users really only want the basic, most used sites out there. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, YouTube. If you have too many, they're not going to be used. They're going to take up a lot of room on your page, and the most commonly used buttons won't get used either. You're going to lose trust in your company, your product, or your service from the user because users are going to think that you're trying way too hard. So let's talk about social media marketing plan. In this webinar series, we did a whole webinar on developing a social media marketing plan. And so I just want to touch upon this again because it's so important. And some of you are joining us for the very first time today and haven't followed the series. So first, when you're developing your social media marketing plan, you have to think about what are your business goals. So we talked about this in the first webinar of the series. You can have one major goal or you can have multiple goals, just depending on your business concerns. So marketing might want to increase traffic to your website. Your marketing department may want to improve your brand positioning, so have more people talking about your brand. They may want to reach a new customer segment. They also will want to set a new marketing message, so new positioning, new marketing campaigns, etc., etc. They may also want to set a communication media with customers. If you're the one developing products, your goals are going to be different. You're going to want to gather customer feedback about your products, set up user testing, build good customer service, launch customer surveys, and do market research and competitive analysis. If you're on the sales team within a company, your goals are going to be different as well. You want to increase your customer satisfaction. You want to increase the number of reoccurring sales and repetitive sales. You want to increase your lead generation and open it up a new sales channel. You may also want to reach a new customer segment. So every department has different goals. And corporate may want to hire new talents, increase employee retention, improve internal knowledge sharing, and increase internal communication. So every department's going to have different goals. Now, for market segmentation, you want to know who your customers are first. So you want to segment precisely your customers, as this is the beginning of successful ROI with social media. Because you will then know your customer. You will be able to set up the most appropriate campaigns and target the most relevant media by knowing who your customers are. So you can do this through socio-demographic data. You can do this through psychological data, through usages. You can do this through communication channels. Expectations in terms of sales and messages need to be laid out. How are your customers going to perceive any ads or campaigns that you put out there? What are your customers' social graphs? So how do they link to each other? What is the purchasing decision cycle for each customer? And who do they partner with if that's important to your company? So you need to define your campaigns. Define the messages that you want to put out there, the tone, the formats, if you want to do videos or ads, etc. Some formats will be more appropriate than others for pure viral campaigns. You have to kind of play with some things. Pick the partners you want to work with, define your budget, and define your timeline. You also want to select the right media. So not all the social media outlets will be successful for you. And one of the last things you want is to be like everybody else. So you're going to have to play with some of the social media outlets out there to see what works for your company and what doesn't. A good timeline to kind of play around with these social media outlets and see if it's working for you is about 2 months. If you don't see an increase in revenue, an increase in clientele, an increase in interest, an increase in your campaigns, stop what you're doing and consult a company that specializes in social media marketing, because we'll be able to help you gauge those campaigns that you're doing. We'll be able to refine those campaigns and make them more refined for your customers, your clientele, to make you more successful. So definitely use Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Those are the 3 major ones that everyone should be using. They work for every industry in one way or in one form or another. So I have some examples for you today. Let's say you offer a B2B product targeting big corporations, and you want to increase customer satisfaction and generate more sales with your installed base. So those are your goals. Which social media outlets could you select? Well, you could do webinars. You could do forums and give tips. You could do online advisory boards. You could do virtual fairs where customers can meet and talk to each other. You could use SlideShare to present new products. So those are some examples of some things that you could do based off of the business goals that you have. This is our next example. You acquired a new company and you want to spread the message that you now have new offers in your portfolio. Which social media outlets could you select to use? Well, we would suggest using blogs. That way you can promote your new offers and show off your portfolio and kind of discuss it a little bit. Also, you could use Twitter. You could also use Facebook, SlideShare, LinkedIn. Pinterest would be a good one as well, because you're trying to show off your portfolio, so that would allow you to do that. So now you have your business goals. You've figured out what social media outlets to use. You've started to use them. Now you want to measure your results, your ROI, your return on investment. Yes, it exists for social media. Depending on your business goal, you can assess if you've reached your target. There's different measures, and they will all be used. And some of the ways to measure your results are to look at the number of views. Look at the number of unique visitors to your website. Look at the number of returning visitors. Look at your drop rate. You can look at the demographics of your users as well. See where they're located. See how much time has been spent on your website. The end result is that doing all this social media and doing all these efforts and campaigns draws traffic to your website. And that in turn makes users into clients who are purchasing your products and services. So the best way to gauge if a campaign's working, ads are working, social media is working, is by measuring the results on your website. Look at the number of external links to your website. Look at the number of conversations about your brand within social media. Look at the quality of those conversations. Do they go on and on and on? Is there a discussion forming, or did someone just write a comment and that's it? Look at the number of active users within your community. Look at your recurring sales. See how many people are coming back and being repeat customers. Look at the number of customers willing to talk in favor of your products or services. Look at the number of user feedbacks for new product generation and product testing. And look at the new revenues generated on a new segment. So here at QCamp, we have a quote that we generated, and this was during the recession, but I believe that it still holds true to today. We said, during a recession with dollars stretched, marketers are under increased pressure to prove their programs are working. Social social media being largely experimental for many brands, need to measure to quickly course correct programs in real time. During times of cutbacks, marketers must know what to cut, and in order to do so, measurement is key. So marketers have to be able to measure the progress of social media efforts and decide where marketing dollars are going to be spent and where they're not. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. It's that simple. With social media, like with anything else, you need to know where you are when you start and what needs to be achieved. As you move along the path, you have to have tools to measure your progress. That way you can see if you are on track and adapt quickly if things go south. Your measurement must be based on business objectives and goals, and those objectives and goals have to be set as measurable goals. Just setting up attributes to track on a dashboard is not enough. So what do you need to measure? What you are going to measure will depend on what business goals you have set in the initial part of your strategy. Based on listening and research, you should have determined what actions you need to focus on in social media. So there are two sides to this equation, outputs and outcomes. First, you need to measure what you did and then what impact it had. And then you can see what results it had. So did your relationships improve? Were your messages communicated properly? Did you get the exposure that you wanted? So the ROI is the outcomes. Did sales or revenue or profits increase? Did your relationships change? Did the right people show up? Did audience behavior change? That's the ROI that you're looking for, the outcomes that you're looking for. So here's an example of a company that we're going to examine some possible goals that they may have and what the measurements would be for those goals. So we have a company, a skincare company with a new lotion product called Lust Lotion. And their goals are to create awareness for a new category of skin lotion. They want to participate in the conversation about skincare online. They want to educate moms about the new type of lotion with articles and skincare tips. They want to find and create relationships with other bloggers in the space. They also want to increase the share of voice in the blog conversations about skincare. They want to create visibility on search engines for the product and related keywords. They want to create interest and search volume about this type of product. And lastly, they want to create word of mouth about the production and the target audiences. So you're thinking, holy mackerel, these are a lot of goals that this company has. But if you go back a few slides, you've got corporate, you've got your product line, you've got your product producers, you have your marketing departments, you have your sales departments. All these different departments have different goals. And so having a list like this of 8 goals is usually what happens. You may have more, you may have less, you may have common goals that you can confine into one goal. So just really depends. And you have to include all those different departments when making your social media marketing plan. So what does this company need to benchmark and measure? They have to look at their search volume for the phrase Lust Lotion online. They also have to look at their search volume for their product, Skin MD and Skin MD Natural. They also must search the visibility of the articles and tips syndicated in a feed. Do they show up in a search? In the search engines for the keywords relevant to the subject and the product? Are visitors going to the feeds? Syndication of the articles and tips that they're putting out there, are they tagged, saved, and republished on other social sites? Online conversations about the product in social networks and social sites can be benchmarked. The share of voice in the online conversation about skincare can be benchmarked. The number of bloggers reviewing the product or using content from the blog articles can be benchmarked. The number of people clicking through from these blog posts to the website can be benchmarked. The demand for the product from brick and mortar stores can be benchmarked. Sales from your website or through your website can be benchmarked. And Google Search Insights for Less Lotion can be benchmarked. So what is your ROI? What is your measurement plan? You have to define both the R and the I. So what exactly is the return or result you're looking for? Figure out what the expectations are in your agency, the client, your own in-house department, and from your C-suite. Define your ideal situation. So get everyone on the same page and make sure that the R is attainable and realistic. Define the I. What will it take to get this done? And do your benchmarks. Look at your company goals and what you need to measure. Define your metrics and get everyone's agreement that those are the successful metrics that you want to benchmark. Benchmarking everything so you have a beginning number to measure against is very important. Do your research. Find the right people to engage with. Find out where they are and what are their likes and dislikes. So these are your customers, your potential customers, users who will go to your website. Figure out how best to engage with them. Define what an improved relationship with these people will yield for your company or your client. And other engagement measurements that you could track ratio of posts to comments, percentage of repeat visitors to your sites, percentage of 5+ minutes on your website, the percentage of registrations through your Contact Us page. These are all different ways that you can measure if your social media marketing efforts are working. Now, there are some free tools that you can use as well. You can use Google Search Insights for tracking search volume on specific keywords and phrases. You could also do Google Web Analytics to track the visitor to your site and the time spent on your website. You should also track who is referring traffic to you and your content effectiveness. You can also use SurveyMonkey for online surveys for your users to learn where are they hanging out, where are they talking about your products. So once you've gathered all this data, you have your benchmarks, what does the data mean? Having mountains of data is all good, but the crucial question is, what does it mean? What does it boil down to? So being able to evaluate the data and come to a conclusion that you can use to tweak or expand your program is the point here. You need to tell your story to others. Tell your story to the clients, your superiors, the C-suite. If you are the only person who understands the metrics and key performance indicators, then you have just guaranteed that your company or client will not take action. Rather than having a mountain of data that no one understands, just keep it simple and easy to translate to others and make it available fast. Stats that are a month old are no use to anyone. Strive to make your reporting instantly useful, no explanations required, because that's going to open the door to letting you show your deep stuff, explaining the nuances, and get support for your programs. Look for failures first. Check to see what the competition's doing. Then look for exceptional success. Compare to last month, last quarter, your 13-month average. Figure out what worked and what didn't work. And move resources from what isn't working to what is. So as an example, here at QCamp and Situated Research, for our clients, we use Google Analytics. It's a free tool that you can use through Google, and it generates detailed statistics about the visitors to your website. So you can build, track, and improve the goals that you set with your clients or within your own company. You can stem ideas for SEO and marketing campaigns, including newsletters, press releases, etc. You can utilize the data repository for monthly reporting and recommendations. And by using Google Analytics, you can be proactive. To use Google Analytics, you need to insert a few lines of code within each page of your website. And you can do that with a web programmer, and they can do that very quickly for you. If you'd like to have that done, you can go ahead and contact us at QCamp, and we'd be happy to do that for you. So here's a screenshot of Google Analytics, and it gives you a lot of great data. You can put in time frames, it tells you visitors, site usage, etc. So it's analytics and optimization for free. It gives you activity and transaction monitoring for free. You can correlate to business results. So your CPA, your ROAs, your ROI, other KPIs, activity analysis, all of this good stuff all boil down into Google Analytics. It provides business justification and direction, gives you dashboards and tools, and the primary objective here is to optimize your spending, prioritize your investments. So what does Web Analytics measure? It can measure your visitors, so the characteristics of your visitors. What web browsers are they using? How many are new visitors? How many are returning visitors? Where are they located? Maybe you're running a campaign in Chicago and you've been doing it for the last month, but the activity of your visitors are not coming from Chicago. They're coming from all over the U.S. So then you know your campaign in Chicago isn't working that well. What can you do to change it to make it better? You can look at traffic, the origins of your traffic, the keywords people are typing in to bring up your website, your referrals, and the pages that they're looking at. This can also help you to manage your website. Maybe there's certain pages on your website that people just aren't visiting. So that's a useless page. Take a look at it. See what needs to be done. Work with your web programmer. Content. You can look at the effectiveness of your content. Look at the bounce rates on each of your pages. Look at the paths that people are taking. Look at the navigation summary. All good data because visitors turn into traffic and looking at content. It's very important within Google Analytics. So how do you optimize? You have to have a plan. You have to define those business goals. You have to measure trends. So looking at bounce rates is important. You have to track the campaigns that you're doing. Maybe you're doing newsletters or emails. You have to be methodical. You need more visitors. So you have to define your sources and execute good campaigns. So Google Analytics helps you to figure out if those campaigns are working or not. So you have to set goals. So select the page you want visitors to see to reach the goal. So the goal is usually thank you or a confirmation page. The types of goals that you may have are a thank you page on a contact form. You want people to download a certain PDF or a white paper on your website. Maybe you want people to sign up for a newsletter. Maybe you want them to join your RSS feed on your blog. So you want to increase the number of subscribers to that. You want to set up your goals, and you want to do that under analytics settings, profile settings, conversion goals, and funnel. You want to select up to 4 goals per profile and set up duplicate profiles to add more goals. You can enter the URL of your goal page, so let's say it's a confirmation page, and then name that goal. And then Google Analytics will keep track of all of the data for that goal or for that campaign that you're running. So everyone's saying, wow, this is a lot of work to measure the ROI. I'm going to listen to all of these steps and do them, but this seems like a lot of work. I wish there was one place that had all of this information that would just give it to me simply, where I wouldn't have to interpret charts. I wouldn't have to look at pie charts, diagrams, data. Everything could be in one place. Well, that is going to come to life this year. Currently, our programmers are working on developing IQ. IQ will be coming this year to QCamp, and we will be using it with all of our clients. It'll be one place to store all of your campaigns. So let's say you're doing campaigns on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. We can look at one place called IQ. You'll have one login. You'll have all your campaigns right there. You can actually compare campaigns as well. It'll be one place for all of your social media efforts, one place for all of your data. It'll be able to generate reports for you, but not just like other social media outlets do, but it'll be able to take all your social media efforts and generate reports and offer suggestions for improving your efforts with campaigns that aren't working very well. It'll show you what's working and what's not, and offer suggestions from our marketing experts. So IQ is coming this year. We're still in the development stages, and so we will be coming out with our beta version probably the beginning of fall, and we're really excited about that. And this is something new that no other company is doing. I mean, there's companies out there like Hootsuite who have developed one place for you to be able to post a status message and then put a delivery date and put that out there and kind of track that. This is going to be more detailed. It's actually going to work. And it's going to be able to give you suggestions from our marketing experts on how to improve your campaigns and your social media efforts. So we're really excited about this. So we want to wrap up the social media webinar series with a recap. Remember that the benefits to social media go on and on and on. You can increase traffic to your company's website. You can generate leads through social media. You can build your professional network. You can provide business for others and get the word out about your business. You can promote yourself only after you've gained trust and credibility. You can create a buzz about the services and products that you sell. Just make sure to do your research. And there's many more benefits to using social media. Just remember that there are some guidelines to follow. Don't start promoting your brand or your website on social media outlets. Be passive and think indirect. Just be yourself online. Visit communities that only interest you and initiate contact. And when you do that, keep in contact with those people online. Make sure that you finish everything and respond to all comments that are posted. In our social media series, we talked about one webinar was becoming an expert and developing groups online and keeping the discussions going and responding to everything. Remember, maintain a pulse. For generating leads, social networks do not generate leads. Remember, people do. So once you're signed up for a network, you need to work it, just like any other networking group. Once you learn how to work that group and you have a system to keep working it, then you can be very successful and generate more leads than you ever thought possible. There are many people who attended our Generating Leads webinar in the social media series, and they put into practice everything that we put in there. And they said, oh my God, I've generated so many leads in the past few weeks that I've never been able to do before. So good for you guys. Keep up the good work, and if you have any questions or any problems or any bumps in the road, email us. And best of all, generating leads on social media outlets is low cost, it's effective, and even fun. So remember the steps to our simple marketing plan. Step 1 is decide your marketing goals. Always write clear, measurable goals. I want to generate 100 new customers. Is this a good goal or a bad goal? Well, in the series, we determined that it was not a good goal. We need to be more specific. So instead of saying that, we want to say, I want to generate 100 new customers in the next 12 months. It's more refined, and now we have a time span and a goal that we can reach. Step 2 in our simple marketing plan is focus. Focus on clear and measurable goals. Focus your efforts on those marketing channels which are producing results. Don't waste your time on the ones that aren't. Focus on marketing your area of expertise. Don't try to be the jack of all trades. Focus. And keep it simple, short, sweet, and focus. Step 3 in our simple marketing plan was your target audience. The more you dig down to target your audience, the more success you will achieve. So how can you do this? Just ask yourself who will be your ideal customer and jot down following things about them: their profession, the average age, their gender, their income levels, their hobbies. Within usability, we call this persona typing. So we're trying to figure out who our customers are, what their backgrounds are, what their demographics are, because that's going to help us to gauge our campaigns. Step 4 in our simple marketing plan is product creation. So people do not buy products. People buy solutions to their problems. And that's something that we need to keep in the back of our heads. It's crucial when creating or designing our products. So we have to ask ourselves, what problems our products will solve for our customers, and communicate that very clearly in our marketing messages online. If we fail to address this point, all of our marketing efforts to this point are wasted. Step 5 is to make clear calls to action. This is why you're doing all this hard work. You want people to read your marketing message and take action. Actions could be picking up the phone and calling your office, emailing you, going to your website and buying your product or service. It could be any other action you want them to take, but the key here is to provide them simple and clear calls to action. We are living in a tense society and people do not have long attention spans. Therefore, keeping things really simple and straightforward for them is very important. And step 6 in our simple marketing plan is persuade people to take action. For that, you can do offering free consultations, discounts, bonuses, use limited time offers, give them a free guide or a free report like we do here at QCamp with our free usability report on your website. So we grade your website for free, and it usually turns into a project or, if not, a referral. And by following this method, you can increase the call to action ratio and generate more leads. Step 7 in the simple marketing plan was marketing channels. There are tons of channels out there, but start with integrating a blog within your website, using Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I know I've had so many people email me during this series and they're like, I don't get Twitter. I don't understand why I have to use it. Please help. And we have. And now they are enjoying the benefits of using Twitter. Didn't make sense before, but now it does. We believe in quality rather than quantity. So you don't have to post every single day if the quality is going to be low. If the quality is going to be high just by posting twice a week, then good, do that. You're going to get more from it. Your company blog should be your center point of your marketing effort, and use Facebook and Twitter to drive traffic to that blog. There are a few other ways that you can drive traffic as well by increasing your SEO on your blog, and we are going to start doing some more SEO and website webinars coming up in the next few weeks. So we'll talk about SEO, also doing forums, article marketing, video, and paid marketing. Step 8 in our simple marketing plan is content creation. We talked about this. Social media is all about sharing, and sharing only happens through content such as tips, articles, pictures, videos, etc. You can share any of the following types of content. You can share how-tos. your industry news, interviews, reviews, anything which can interest your audience. Here at QCamp, we're going to start doing a daily video. And we're going to start out doing it just twice a week, seeing how it takes off. But it's going to give you how-tos and tips as far as social media marketing goes and web design. So we're going to start that next week after the holiday, and we're really excited about that. But that's some content that we can share with people and get people involved within our company. Social media, remember, is no different than socializing in person. You're just doing it online. So try to be helpful and interesting as much as possible when creating content. Try to become an authority in your field instead of selling. When you do that, sales will happen automatically. I'm not a salesperson. I really suck at selling things. And the things that I have learned in the last 15 years of business, running my own businesses, is that you don't need to sell if your product or services are good. You just have to be yourself and talk about how you can help a customer and improve their situation or the problem that they're having. And sales will happen automatically. So don't be afraid to share other people's stuff. Instead, share more for others than yours. Step 9 in our simple marketing plan is figure out how often you're going to post. Make a calendar, a schedule like we talked about in the series. Post one blog post a week, one tweet a day, one message status change a day on Facebook. 2 times a week, post questions to your audience to engage them. One status update a week on LinkedIn. Participate daily on LinkedIn. Check your discussions started that you can participate in. You can even start discussions at least twice a week and respond to all comments. Remember, maintain that pulse online. And finally, our final step, step 10 in our simple marketing plan, is measure your success. Doing all of this doesn't matter if you're not measuring your success. If you're just doing it and going through the program and not measuring your success, there's no point because you don't know what's working and what's not. So you have to be on top of measuring your success to achieve your big goals. If you want to achieve 100 new customers yearly, you should break it down to monthly or quarterly goals and measure it regularly. After 3 months, if you have increased to 33 new customers monthly, it means you are on top of achieving your big goal at the end of the year. If not, then you should be reviewing your marketing efforts. So here at QCamp, we believe marketing success equals find and test new ways, measure those results, drop those that are not working, and increase your efforts on what is producing results, and you will have marketing success. So that concludes our social media marketing webinar series. We've talked about how to generate leads. We've talked about becoming an expert online. We've talked about how to go ahead and integrate social media within your website. We've talked about integrating a blog within your website. We've talked about becoming an expert and what to post and what not to post and how to post. And we've talked about a lot of great things and how to measure your ROI. So I know that you've all gotten a lot out of this series, and it's sad to conclude today, but today is the last webinar, and all the webinars are available on our YouTube channel as well as our website. So if you guys do have any questions, testimonials of the series, comments, email us at info@qcamp.com. Also, feel free to call us. Our customer service line is always available 24/7. Leave us a message or someone will get back to you right away. Visit us on the web at www.qcamp.com. Join our Facebook fan page. Again, we do daily tips every day on web design as well as social media analytics and marketing. Our next webinar will be announced on our website, so stay tuned. And again, we want to thank everyone for attending this webinar series. I know it was a lot of information, but I also know that it was useful for everyone. So if you need to go back in the series, you can do so. If you have questions when you go back, please feel free to email us. We get back to you right away, and we want to make sure that all of your questions are answered. So we want to thank everyone for attending the last session of the Social Media Marketing Webinar Series. Thank you again and have a great day.